All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Well, folks, we're about a little bit more than 48 hours away from kickoff this Monday night for the national championship game between Ohio State and Notre Dame. And in the process, it's going to wrap up the longest college football season in history, as this is the conclusion of the first ever 12 team college football playoff. We've got two schools from the Midwest who are set to invade SEC and ACC country in the ATL of Atlanta. You look at two teams in Notre Dame and Ohio State, they have really made the most of their second opportunities in this playoff. Remember, Ohio State lost their regular season finale to Michigan. In doing so, lost their opportunity to get to the Big Ten championship game. And in years prior, even in the 14th playoff, the Buckeyes would have been on their way home. Okay. This time around, they've gotten a reprieve and they're making the most of it. You look at Notre Dame, that loss to Northern Illinois earlier in the season really would have crippled them. But the Irish are here and they are showing up and showing out. You think about it, the Buckeyes, they're heavily favored for Monday night's game. We're talking about Ohio State right now. They're firmly at an 8.5 point favorite in this contest. But I'll tell you like this, they're going to have to pack a lunch come Monday night, because what we've seen so far in a brief period of time for the Fighting Irish under head coach Marcus Freeman is this team shows plenty of grit. Okay, he's already 33-9. Okay, as the head coach in 3 years in South Bend, and what we've seen in this playoff so far, the second half of their games belong to the Fighting Irish. Okay, and that's coaching right there. That's adjustments. All right, and like I said, they've got plenty of grit. But you look at this thing right here, quarterback Riley Leonard for Notre Dame, and the question is going to be, will this stingy Ohio State defense be able to make him more of a passer than he is a runner? Okay, he's a dual threat. All right, but he's a guy, again, he's got a lot of grit. And I expect Ohio State to try to go out there and try to heat him up. But for the Buckeyes to do that, they've got to win first and second down, and they've got to keep Notre Dame behind the sticks in second and third and long situations. Will Ohio State be able to do that? We've got to wait and see. Running back Jeremiah Love for Notre Dame. Remember, he hurt that knee going back to the Georgia game. It was one of those where he had the brace on against Penn State in the Orange Bowl. And it was one of those, you saw him as the game went on, he got better and better. And I think he's going to, have to have a big time impact in this game if Notre Dame is going to go out there and pull off the upset. We're talking about the Ohio State defense. This Notre Dame defense is not, they're not slouches either. You think about it at the linebacker position with Jack Kaiser and Drake Bowen, and then, of course, Xavier Watts, in my opinion, arguably the best safety going into April's NFL draft. And of course, many people would have thought that the season-ending injury to Riley Mills suffered in the first round against Indiana would have really hindered Notre Dame's defensive line. Guys have really been stepping up in the place of one of their captains. Okay, so you look at this Notre Dame team, they are not going to be intimidated or phased by the big lights come Monday night in Atlanta. For Ohio State, you have to wonder if they're a team of destiny, because like I said, the Buckeyes have really made the most of this second opportunity. We saw what they did in round number one against Tennessee. They completely boat raced Oregon in the Rose Bowl in round number two, and then of course the Cotton Bowl against Texas in the semis. And now the Buckeyes are 60 football minutes away from claiming the national championship. We talked about Notre Dame's run game. Ohio State, they're not slouches either with Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins. But you look at quarterback Will Howard, this is the best football that he has played so far this season in this playoff. You look at Al Golden's defense. Is he going to be able to go out there and frustrate this Ohio State offense and keep them off rhythm? You look at the wide receiving talent that the Buckeyes have. Jeremiah Smith had that big game against Oregon, not so much against Texas. I think Texas has better athletes in their secondary, and I think that had something to do with it. But you still got Emeka Egbuka and Carnell Tate. I look at this game right here. So much defensive talent for both of these teams. I mean, you look at the Buckeyes with Cody Simon, Sonny Styles, and Caleb Downs in that back seven, and then of course you got Jack Sawyer, and pardon me, Cody Simon and Sonny Styles up front rather. But then you got Jack Sawyer and JT Tui Molawa, excuse me, um, as part of this defensive front for the Buckeyes. The stingiest in the nation. Only Oregon has scored more than 20 points against the Buckeyes this season. Oregon did it twice. They scored 32 against them during the regular season, and then, of course, 21 more in the Rose Bowl. But again, I think special teams, I think field position is going to be important for this game. And I also think whichever team is -2 in the turnovers, they're going to lose this one because I really think this is going to be a defensive battle. Notre Dame is going to go out there and they're going to try to mix it up with Ohio State. And we know what the Buckeyes can do defensively as well. So, like I said, field position and special teams. You got two head coaches, Marcus Freeman for Notre Dame and then Ryan Day for Ohio State. One of these guys, their lives will never be the same after Monday night. Why? Because one of them is no longer going to be in that list of coaches that has never won a national championship. And I think it's funny and ironic that about a month ago or so, give or take, maybe about 6 weeks now, when Ohio State lost to Michigan, okay, there were Buckeye fans out there that wanted to see Ryan Day gone. And at the end of the day, all he's done is win at Ohio State. You're talking about a guy now that in a little bit more than 6+ seasons, he's 69-10 overall. He's 46-5 in the Big Ten. And this is his second national championship game appearance. I've talked about Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame, and each year his team has gotten better under him as he has really smoothly segued from the Brian Kelly era to the Marcus Freeman era of his own. This is going to be an old school paint swapping type game. I know that the over under right now is 45.5. I think it's going to be a low scoring affair. The first team to 20 is going to win this one. Turnovers are going to be key. Field position is going to be key. And I want to see who's going to be able to run the football. And more importantly, who, when they get in the end zone or the red zone, rather, they're going to be able to score touchdowns instead of having to settle for field goals. You got two good kickers for both sides in this game. I think that could be an impact as well because, like I said, points are going to be at a premium. Both of these schools possess very passionate fan bases, and I think Mercedes-Benz Stadium is going to be electric come Monday night. We're going to see plenty of legends in attendance for both sides. I mean, I'm not saying who I think is going to be there, but I mean, you just think about some of the greats that have played for both of these illustrious schools over the years. You think about Notre Dame, Rocket Ismail, Jerome Bettis, Joe Montana, just to name a few. And then for the Buckeyes, Eddie George, Archie Griffin, and Orlando Pace, just to name a few for the Scarlet and Gray. Like I said, field position is going to be at a premium. Protecting the football is going to be at a premium. Some people think Ohio State is going to be able to blow out Notre Dame. I don't think so. Okay. I think Notre Dame is going to do their part. They're going to stick with their game plan. And that's one thing that we have seen from Marcus Freeman so far in this tournament. His team does not waver. You look at how they played in the second half against Penn State. You look at how they played in the second half against Georgia. And in all of these games, Notre Dame has been able to establish their line of scrimmage with their ground game. Al Golden's going to bring it defensively. But again, Ohio State's defense is no slouches either. So I think this is going to be a very tightly contested affair throughout. I'm going to give the edge to Ohio State But again, it's going to be very close. And I'm going to say Buckeyes 20, Fighting Irish 17. So, folks, that is my pick for this Monday night's national championship game in college football. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank each and every one of you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you are on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now, you can check it out. Drop a line to be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. And also, be sure to check out this channel Tuesday, as I will be talking everything post national championship game. But once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I am signing off, and I'm saying thanks once again for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. Enjoy your weekend and enjoy the college football championship game on Monday night. Be well, everybody.